Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera sir. Today we're going to talk about safety and health standard at the workplace. My name is AMILAH Fazlina Betty Mujibudin along with JACINTA, Kausalya, Muthu and Kausalya. Nothing can guarantee that an employee won't become a victim, how it can evolve and what you can do about it. You probably have an idea of what workplace violence is. Workplace violence consists of violent acts directed at someone who is at work or on duty. Workplace violence threats against workers. This violence is one of the leading causes of job-related deaths and also growing concern for employees nationwide. Now, I'm going to talk about types of workplace violence that an employee have been facing, which is act or threat of physical violence is an act attempting to cause pain or physical injury. Next, sexual harassment is unwelcome sexual behavior where happens at the workplace. Mostly girl employee is one of the main victims of this act. Intimidation is to frighten someone to make be in a way of you. Bullying. Bullying is the acts or verbal comments that could mentally hurt a person in a workplace. Lastly, threatening distributive behavior is inappropriate behavior that interferes with the functioning and flow of the workplace.
Hi, my name is Muthu. For the workplace violence the risk of workplace violence is greater in the job and healthcare society and field. So the correctional environment, to the name but a few, the risk is also great for the people who working in public or community contact, for those who working with unstable and volatile people. The causes of the workplace violence is because of workplace aggression, and violence is increasing, being recognized as a serious problem in the society. So there are numerous factors identified literaturely that give rise to violence at the end of the workplace. We have categorized those factors in the view of management perspective. So for the causes for sexual harassment in the workplace is the pervasiveness of the cause of the sexual harassment is manifestation of sex-based discrimination and become a growing concern at the national and international level. For example, when a job benefit such as pay rise, a promotion or even continued employee is made conditional on victim acceding to demands to engage in some form of sexual behavior. Many of the causes are interrelated and are linked to the culture and values in society and in companies, and the roles is relative power and states to man and woman concern.
Hi, Bethany.
Hey Rob, what's up?
It's the calendar. Can you please take it down?
This again, Rob. Come on, where's your sense of humour?
It's not that I don't have a sense of humour, it's that I'm trying to work and it's distracting.
You're a grown-up, you'll get over it.
Did y'all watch the previous video clip? The serious effects of sexual harassment are often understated. These behaviors can cause significant health problems, financial difficulties, and even global consequences. Firstly, emotional well-being. Sexual harassment can put a victim's emotional and mental health at a danger. It can lead a loss of self-esteem and even put personal relationships in risk. Workplace sexual harassment can create a lot of stress and anxiety. Then comes physical health. When victims of sexual harassment experience mental and emotional problems, it often leads to physical health issues such as loss of appetite, headache, weight fluctuations, and sleep disturbance, followed by financial challenges. Some victims of sexual harassment may even face broader career repercussions, such as the loss of job preference. They might decide to leave their current position or employer to avoid a hostile work environment. Lastly, global consequences. Each year, millions are lost due to low productivity, employee turnover, low moral and legal costs stemming for sexual harassment.
So Matt, what are you up to this weekend?
Not much.
Are you doing any overtime on Sunday?
No, not this weekend.
Because we said that we'd meet up for a meal sometime?
Actually, I'm not really free.
Hi, I'm Kausalya and I'm gonna talk about how to prevent this situation. Sexual harassment is a gender-neutral offense. At least in theory, men can sexually harass women and women can sexually harass men. People of the same sex can also sexually harass each other as long as the harassment is based on sex rather than sexual orientation, which is not the protected characteristic. There are a number of steps that you can take to reduce the risk of sexual harassment occurring in your workplace. Although you may not be able to take all over the steps listed below, you should take as many as them as you can. First of all, adopt a clear sexual harassment and policy. Second, train employee and train supervisor and manager. And sexual harassment training requirement is monitoring your workplace and take all our complaints seriously. Adopt a clear sexual harassment policy. In your employee handbook, you should have a policy developed to sexual harassment. The policy should define sexual harassment, state in no uncertain terms that you will not tolerate sexual harassment, state that you will discipline or fire any wrongdoers, set out a clear procedure for filing sexual harassment complaints, and state you will investigate fully any complaint that you will receive, and state that you will not tolerate retaliation against anyone who complain about the sexual harassment. Training. Manager, HR staff members, supervisor and employees should be trained on how to recognize the sign of potential violence employee and what to do when violence occurs. Train employees. Employees training should be done at least once a year. This season should teach employees what sexual harassment is, explaining that they have a right to a sexual harassment-free workplace. Go over your complaint procedure and encourage employees to use it. Train supervisor and manager. Separate training season for supervisor and manager should be held at least once a year. In addition to employee season, the training season should be educate manager and supervisor about sexual harassment and how to handle complaints. Sexual harassment training requires certain employees required by some state to provide sexual harassment training. Even if it is not illegal requires, every state strongly encourage employee to provide such as training. Your manager will understand the law and what to do when employee complain, and if you end up in a lawsuit, you will be able to demonstrate that you try to prevent harassment. First, monitor your workplace. Get out among your employees on a regular basis. Discuss the work environment with them. Solicit their feedback. Take a look around the office. There are any offenses poster or notes. Inform your supervisor and manager of the situation. Maintain open line of communication. The graph shows the cases of violence in various workplaces in Malaysia. Our research and study of this report give us a great knowledge about the workplace violence of an organization. People are both physically and emotionally vulnerable. It might also damaging to a company's reputation. Workplace violence is predictable and has solution. Like any other issue in the workplace, there is a precaution and also procedure that you can follow. It's completely up to the employer to decide how to put safety regulation and also procedures in a workplace. An employer is responsible for minimizing the possibilities of violence that taking place in their organization. They are the ones who should provide a secure environment for their employees to work in. Even outside of the workplace, violence it is their responsibility to
minimize the chance of injury to any of their employees. They should make sure all the policies and regulations are fully enforced.
Let's put our hands together and say no to workplace violence.
Say no to workplace violence and sexual harassment.
Say no to workplace violence.
Let's put hands together and say no to workplace violence and sexual harassment.
Say no to workplace violence.